How can a literacy coach support teachers of mathematics? As with anything, change can be difficult, especially if one feels ill-equipped for the change ahead. As stated in the article, The Future of High School Mathematics by Fay, Garfunkel, Briers, and colleagues, the force of tradition in education makes its aims and practices consistently and powerfully resistant to change. They go on to say that mathematics teachers, curriculum developers, and researchers have made significant progress in developing and testing efficacy of comprehensive and integrative curriculum structures, of problem-based teaching that develops student skill, understanding, and problem solving, of strategies for teaching mathematical practices like modeling complex realistic situations, of the use of technology for doing and teaching mathematics, and of assessment for breadth and depth of learning. However, if that progress is to be sustained and broadly implemented, we need to accelerate the pace of innovation. In order to work through this resistance and quicken the pace, collaboration is key. The literacy coach and the math teacher need to agree on the goals for their students. According to Fay and his colleagues, countries that have made real progress in their performance on international assessments share several characteristics. First and foremost is a broad agreement on the goals of education and sustained commitment to change over time. An example of this type of relationship is shown in this teaching channel video found by following the link attached to the quote, "This is not a criticism," and it portrays a math teacher and a literacy coach collaborating after an observed lesson. There has been improvement in elementary and middle school mathematics over the past 20 years, which was a time period when the National Council of Teachers of Mathematics standards were the guiding principles for curriculum, evaluation, teaching, and assessment. The core curriculum state standards are based off of the NCTM standards and provide a useful framework. However, as Fay and his colleagues warn, they must be viewed as a living document to be modified as recommended by experience. The literacy coach will need to assist math teachers in developing mathematical habits of mind in their students. Both quotes on the left-hand side of this slide are from the article, Organizing a Curriculum Around Mathematical Habits of Mind by Foucault, Goldenberg, and Mark. They both illustrate how mathematical habits of mind help prepare students for college, careers, and adult life in general. In order for students to develop this mathematical way of thinking, the way that math has traditionally been taught must change. A math classroom will no longer be a teacher presenting a problem to the class and then modeling how to solve it. Classrooms will be student-centered, where students will be given problems and be expected to work them out in groups or individually, and the math teacher will provide support as needed. The methods for solving mathematical problems will now be just as important as having the right answers. In order for all of these changes to take place, the literacy coach and the math teacher will have to collaborate creatively and will require courage to make significant changes in traditional practices, according to Fay and his colleagues. The quote under the title of the slide is from the article Open-Ended Questions and the Process Standards by Wendy B. Sanchez. Literacy coaches and math teachers should look to create open-ended questions for use in the classroom to better teach math literacy. Open-ended questions are seen as a new and better tool of student assessment than standardized tests because, according to Sanchez, they help students move beyond being able to work routine exercises. Open-ended questions can be defined as questions that can be solved or explained in a number of ways. Questions that focus on concepts of mathematics and are able to expose students' understandings and misconceptions, which is beneficial not only to the students but to the teacher as well. Another benefit of open-ended questions is that they promote higher-level thinking skills. According to Sanchez, the kind of thinking necessary to solve these problems forces students to build connections to underlying concepts and meaning. Also, she notes that asking students for another example forces them to consider a different representation. As they are explaining their reasoning, they are communicating. They are involved in problem solving as well as reasoning and proof. Sanchez goes on to say that problems people encounter in everyday life and careers rarely require rote application of procedures. So by teachers providing students with open-ended questions, they are preparing them for adult life. Open-ended questions can also be used to set up two opposing arguments, having the students defending one side or the other, a skill that will also be useful to them in their future lives. Sanchez believes that when students answer higher order questions focused on meaning, they will be prepared for any test we give them in school or in life. As the 3 previous slides have shown, there are many pertinent ways the literacy coach can assist the mathematics teacher, but perhaps the most important way would be through professional development. In their article, Teaching Disciplinary Literacy to Adolescents, Rethinking Content Area Literacy, Timothy and Cynthia Shanahan write, although most students manage to master basic and even intermediate literacy skills, many never gain proficiency with the more advanced skills that would enable them to read challenging texts in science, history, literature, mathematics, or technology. But something else makes these high-level skills very difficult to learn. They are rarely taught. And because this is not the way that most teachers themselves were taught, this is new territory that must be explored together. Our textbook Content Matters states on page 82 that this is not the way that most adults learn mathematics. Therefore, for practicing teachers to embrace these new practices and learn to facilitate such learning requires that they be provided both time and opportunity. The literacy coach will have to collaborate with the math teachers while selecting resources, supply teachers with opportunities for professional development, ensure that the focus stays on teaching and learning as the teachers go through this transitional period of learning how to teach the new literacies, and through observation and collaboration, be sure that there is a connection between the professional development and the lessons being taught in the classroom. This is the end of our Integrating Literacy into Mathematics presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.